Android enthusiast. My main job is maths and physics teacher, and programming was my hobby. Since I was a little child, I started with MRC scripting. The oldest of you might remember what this is. So let's begin to see what Basic for Android is. Basic for Android is an IDE, integrated development environment. It's modern, smart, and powerful. There are, of course, highlighting, code highlighting, smart autocomplete, structure matching for is and force, automatic words, error highlighting, and a lot of other nice features that make a modern, easy to use, and productivity enhancing IDE. We will see it in action later, as I will build a small demo with it. But Basic for Android is also a RAD, Rapid Application Development Tool. As that title suggests, the aim is to facilitate the fast and easy creation of apps and minimize the time needed for developing a new app idea. Why spend years developing something if there are tools out there to help you do it just like in months? It makes more business sense to take the path of least resistance. The thing is that at the same time, it tries to do this without limiting you in any way as far as what your programs are capable of. So you can make almost any kind of app you like. The first word in Basic for Android is basic, and it stands for Beginners All-Purpose Symbolic Instruction Code. And it's one of the first programming languages that many new coders will learn due to its relative simplicity. If you are new to programming, you may find that Basic is a little easier to pick up than Java. To look at, Basic often reads a lot more like plain English, and this is one feature that makes it so user-friendly. To demonstrate, compare these two lines of code that do the same thing. The former is just a lot more intuitive than the latter, and easier to understand intuitively if you're new. And there are no semicolons to forget about. I believe that most of you can think of even more striking examples. Java is also much more object-oriented than Basic. This may be seen as a benefit and is useful for bigger projects. For a beginner though, it requires a little more work to get your head around. Not that you cannot write classes in Basic for Android. Yes, you can if you want or need to, but it's not necessary. What's more though, Basic for Android handles a lot of things behind the scenes for you. For instance, if that second line of code was going to work with Java Android Studio, then you would also need to import the relevant classes. Likewise, creating global variables is much easier, so writing strings, so setting timers, using custom fonts, creating services, threading, etc. In both cases, you would need to initialize the widget you were referencing, but Basic for Android makes it much easier for you to do that just once and then forget about it. Also, if you must use code written in Java, you can do it too. There is the option of writing inline Java code right between your basic code, or for more complex uses, create your own libraries which are written in Java. Any code you can use with Android Studio. If you can wrap a library, a Basic for Android library, you can wrap this library, I want to say, and then write code in Basic to use it. You can find thousands of already wrapped libraries in the community forum, which is really active, and most of them are for free. The apps made with Basic for Android are 100% native. Before the key creation, the whole code is translated to Java, and so the final source code is Java, although you didn't write it, and since it is automatically created and it's almost unreadable. Basic for Android compiled applications are native Android applications. There are no extra runtimes or dependencies. Except for beginners, there are also a lot of people with a lot of programming experience in Visual Basic or Delphi, just like myself, and who want to join the right and create applications for Android or iOS. But they are afraid of the learning curve of a new language and IDE. With Basic for Android, they don't have to learn a new language, Java or C. Not immediately at the beginning. It is useful to learn and really can help a lot, but it's not a starting necessity. And also they can use code that they have already written for their VB programs. It's a huge confidence boost and can help them to get started with mobile development. As I think is now obvious, Basic for Android is not an app builder aimed at people who don't want or know how to do encoding. You will have to code, but it's more accessible for beginners, and there are a lot of neat features to make the process simpler. And you aren't limited in any way as to what you can create. Almost any app you can think of, no matter how complex it may seem, it's possible with Basic for Android. Here are some examples of what people have already made. A calendar app, a barcode and QR code scanner, call recorder, many different applications featuring Google Maps, Android Wear apps, and this one is actually mine, maths and graphic apps, charts, quiz games, simple games, more complex games. There are scenarios where Basic for Android won't be the best choice for your project, but there are also some scenarios where Basic for Android will be the best choice. As you can see, really the sky is the limit. Everything is really possible. What is of extreme importance is that Basic for Android is a part of an ecosystem, a set of tools allowing you to create cross-platform applications and at the same time native to each specific platform. Other than Basic for Android, there is Basic for iOS, allowing you to create iOS applications using Basic and a Windows PC. I really don't know a lot of Windows platforms that allow you to build proper iOS apps. Basic for Java, for creating applications running on Windows, Mac, Linux, and an excellent tool for creating server applications. And the Basic for Arduino for creating Internet of Things apps. I should point that you can share over 80% of the code between the different platforms. In other words, because the syntax is largely the same for Basic for Android, Basic for Java, and Basic for iOS, you can create a single app on the PC and then swap out some libraries and platform-specific features in order to port it to both Android and iPhone. Or if you have already made the Android app, port it to iOS, really easy. And I will demonstrate this excellent feature right away. Before I do so, writing the little demo, let me tell you the two negatives of using Basic for Android. It's fair. The first it is that it's not free. It is very cheap, but not completely free. Basic for Android with 2-year update license costs around 100 euros, and Basic for iOS roughly the same. Bundled together, it costs around 160 euros, a very low price as I see it. Basic for Java is free, and there is a trial version of Basic for Android to check them out if you want to for yourself. Also, a few times this year, each year, there are limited time offers with even better price. The second is that it's not an industry standard. This may trouble you if you try to sell your source code, or if you try to get a job as an Android developer, if you don't know, if you also don't know how to work with Android Studio. And this pretty much sums it up. Enough with the theory. Now for the fun coding part. I will create a very simple game, a demo. There will be a ball that will move randomly around the football field. As Euro is a currently trending topic. Every time I click it, a hit will count. Every time I miss, a miss will count. At 10 seconds, the game will end and will show me and pop up. A message pop up will show me how many times I hit the ball and what my hit miss percentage. And I first build it in Basic for Java for desktop, and then I will take all of my code, do very little tweaks, and have a fully functioning Android app, and all this in less than 15 minutes, I really hope. So let me change the projection mode and open Basic for Java. I have already set up Basic for Java. It's really easy, it's not something difficult. So let's close this. So Basic for Java. This is the IDE. I have already set some variables. I will uncomment them 3 integers and 2 timers. I will then open the designer, the form designer. And I will create the interface. There will be a panel. I will name it panel bar. I will put it top left. Don't worry. I will set its height, its width. I'm using a script for multiple layouts. I don't have to create any more layouts. It will automatically resize for by needs. And it's very useful too. Okay, I will add a button and 2 labels. All this will be in the panel bar. Okay. Script is running. Okay. I'm setting the width and top and left of every view I use. Where is it? And also two, top, maybe 2. Let's see if this. Yes. Here, it should be. Okay. Oh, this is wrong. That's why it's not working properly. No, we have the form script almost ready. I will add the football field. One. Okay. And an image view inside this football field. Image view 1 inside the football field. The image view will be around the 15%. And the 50% of football field width, and it will have the same height. Yes. Okay. I'm trying to do as quickly as possible. I'm sorry if I don't present everything. Fix -68 the height of the panel and remove this. Take these things, put it down. Yes, it's almost ready. I add the graphics, a ball and a football field. Okay, now I will go to the panel. I will have a background, the football field. Background, big drawing, football field, and for the image view, I love the ball. Save, layout 1. Okay. Now, for the coding, I will generate all the members for my code and some events like the click on the football field, and click on, on the ball and on the mouse. Okay, now I will initialize the 2 timers that I have already written. Timer 1, initialize. The event name with timer. And the interval 1000. Okay, to initialize. Change the labels. Next. Start. Now, the timers should be disabled. So, if I click on the football field and the game is running, then the miss will count. Then the end is already there. Miss +1. I would like miss ++, but not here, it's basic. If I click on the mouse and on the image view, the ball, a hit then will count. The ball will move faster. And the ball is and the ball will move. I will write this up for it. Also, I will consume the click event. So I will have to write a sub called ball. Random And now I will cheat a little. I will use red code just because I think the time is coming and I'm losing track of it. I'm really sorry. To start the game, reset everything, and what I forgot is that I should do this. So, if I run, oh, it doesn't run. Layout 1, oh, it has a capital letter. Yes, this is case sensitive. Oh, let's see what happened in Designer. Yes. Oh, boom, football field. And run again. Oh, here it is. Start. The ball moves. I click it. Click, click. Now it will start to move a little faster. It's not up. And here it is, my percentage 15. Okay, so again, to show it again that it works. Okay, it works. Okay, very low percentage this time. 1 and off. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I will have to do. I will have to show you that it works. It really works. I will copy paste my code. It was the biggest part. I will copy paste my code and it will run in Basic for Android. I have it already open. The only thing that I have to do is replicate not all these things. I will have just to add this on the bar. Okay, with 1, 2, and the button. Oh. And the button, where is it? Here it is. And the activity. And here. Okay. Generate all these things. Okay, that's the files. Okay, now copy paste. I'm taking all the script, put it here, it runs. The height of the buttons are correct, I will correct it right now. Okay. Save. Taking my variables. All of my code into activity. Create. One click. Here I have to return true to consume the event. The timers, the move on. And here I don't have effects, I have just a message box. And click and run. Hope it will run. And yay! It runs. So this is basic for Android. It's a cross-platform tool. You can create iOS apps with it. It's all native, 50%, okay. And this was my presentation. Any questions?
You have no labels on Android?
It's the color. It's the color. If I had some more time, I would change the color and it would show it's white on white. That's why it doesn't show.
Yes. What Android API versions does this support?
So even the latest.
What's the minimum? What's the minimum API?
Android 1.6. 1.6.
So it supports from 1.6 to the latest?
To the latest, yes. It's not tested on Android 10, of course, but it works with Marshmallow just fine. Any other question?
Is it also compiling to something else? Or how does it,
Oh, I forgot to close.
no, but how does it work?
How does it work on Android? It's translated to Java. It's an APK. The basic code is translated to Java, and it's an APK, native APK of Java. No dependencies, no extra libraries, no nothing. We have here build configurations, manifest editor. Okay, now edit the manifest from here. Any change I want. I can set the icon, everything you may accept from Android is here.
Is there any real-world app?
Real world app. There are many real world. I showed
For
you
example?
not the large corporation apps. It's not an industry standard, as I said. There are many independent developers building small games, small apps, just like myself. That's the basic for Android community, but I think it has a lot of potential, and we could have a better community here in Greece. Yes?
Just wondering, when you change the UI,
Yes.
you use the UI editor. Is there any way to add code instead of using the editor?
Where?
Uh,
Here in the...
yes, when you add in the panels, you are
Yeah.
using the editor. Is there a way to add text instead of the editor?
To add the components that you use here.
Yes.
Uh,
Import
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's not possible, but I really don't. I can't swear.
Okay.
Thank you.